Beep, 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 beep. Are we doing good, peeps? Hey, another day, another dollar. Another shirt with a dirty collar. Hey, let's do some work. Buy me a coffee, become a warrior teacher, the usual. Give me a super thanks if you can. If you can help out, that would be great. Thank you very much indeed. Loads going on. Loads. Lots happening. So, Spiked Online, you remember them? Brendan O'Neill. They always come up with some good stuff, don't they? Spiked. They're always, thinkers. Thinkers. We like them because they're thinkers. They're thinkers. Yes, they are thinkers. I imagine they'll be at the Battle for the Ideas, which is coming in October in London. I'm going, by the way. I'm doing a group thing, speaking as part of a panel. So that's quite exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope some of you will be there to see me. So Brendan O'Neill is the chief political writer for Spiked Online, has written a piece which I thought was very interesting. And it's the terminology that I find interesting, but also what the title is, which is The Rise and Rise of Trans McCarthyism. For those of you not familiar with McCarthy, which maybe are younger viewers, or those that just simply have never come across it, Senator Joseph McCarthy went on a witch hunt to find communists in Hollywood in the 1950s, and find them. He did. Not all of them were communists. He destroyed lives through what he did. Usual when it happens when somebody uses a sledgehammer to crack a nut. It was. If you've ever seen the film The Way We Were, right, with Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford, memories like the corners of my mind. It's represented in that, right? It's represented in that, and that's quite interesting. And also, if you'd like to know more about McCarthy from a real cutting-edge point of view, there's a film called Good Night and Good Luck with who's in that? George Clooney. That's brilliant. It's not an easy watch. You've really got to concentrate. It's dark, smoky rooms. It's conversation. But Good Night and Good Luck, I would also recommend around McCarthyism if you're not familiar with the situation that was going on. So what he said here is not McCarthy, Brendan O'Neill, any comedian, actor or writer who dabbles in gender-critical thinking risks being blacklisted. Now, it's been a bad week, says Brendan, for the cancel culture is a myth lobby. It certainly has. Even bloviating windbag Owen Jones is sort of like, oh God. For those woke bros of the pretend left who squawk, it's not cancel culture, it's consequences culture. Every time someone is punished for their beliefs, women hounded from their jobs, blacklisted by university campuses, set upon by heaving mobs of feral misogynists, all for the thought crime of knowing men are not women, and still the censorship apologists say cancel culture isn't real. This isn't a witch hunt, it's just God's consequences, these petty tyrants would have said. In Salem. Common thread there. Salem, McCarthy. We've always had witch hunts, haven't we? We love a good mob. We love a good witch hunt. That's what we like. We've always liked it. The cancellation deniers were mugged by truth this week. Brilliant. Well, what do you put it? They were mugged by truth. First, we had the extraordinary sight of the good people of the Comedy Unleashed traipsing around Edinburgh to try and find a venue for their comedy night. Their lineup included Graham Linehan, you see, and his insistence that people with penises are men, not women, makes him a public enemy to the woke Joe McCarthys. Not one but two venues cancelled. Yes, cancelled. These thought criminals of comedy. Eventually they had to perform their set on the street outside the Scottish Parliament, a grim snapshot of the decline and fall of enlightened Scotland. Then we have the shaming of David Grieg. The blacklisting of Linehan and friends is an incredibly important moment in cancel culture, but I hope it doesn't overshadow the Stasi-style humiliation suffered by Grieg for his wrong think. He is one of Scotland's best-known playwrights. His works have been performed everywhere, from the National Theatre to the Royal Shakespeare Company, and this week he fell victim to the culture of denunciation, the frenzy for finger-pointing that swirls through woke circles. He was snitched on, exposed, shamed, and pressured to recant his profane and wicked thoughts. What did he do? He liked two tweets posted by TERFs, trans-exclusionary radical feminists. His careless and harmful, quote-unquote, Twitter behaviour, as he himself described it in the timorous apology, extracted from him by the mob, involved pressing like on the following tweets. Lads and lasses in the trenches fighting the gender madness. What is the best? Brackets, very recent brackets. Example you can think of what shows how we have won this crazy war. And secondly, if you're a 16-year-old autistic girl who says someone looks like a lesbian, you'll be arrested and held in custody. But if you're a 26-year-old man who punches a woman twice at a women's rights rally, you will just be cautioned. That latter tweet was contrasting the surreal overreaction of woke cops in West Yorkshire to a teenage girl who said one of their officers looked like her lesbian nana, and the slap on the wrist given to a 26-year-old trans activist, a bloke, naturally, who allegedly punched a 50-year-old feminist in the head and arm last month. It was in Aberdeen at a Woman Won't Weesh rally that this male violence from the drag of trans activism allegedly took place. The man was given a recorded police warning, a meaningless sanction that will vanish from records in 2 years, as a columnist from the Scotsman thundered. That was Grieg's thought crime. Then he dared to complain that cops are too soft on violence against women. Truly standing with women is a risky business in 2023. Grieg was swiftly outed as a transphobe, which is to modern culture what being a communist was to 1950s Hollywood. Chillingly, it was a fellow creator, an artist called Rosie Aspinall-Priest, who publicly denounced him. She shared the sinful material he approved of, accusing him of openly liking transphobic tweets. Really awful things on display here, she said. What? Giving the thumbs up to tweet criticising Aberdeen police for not treating the punching of a woman more seriously. That's what the thumbs up was. That's what she's moaning about. Who is this person? Rosie Aspinall-Priest. Grieg's likes, or his thoughts, which is really what we're talking about here, do not align with the values inherent within Scotland's theatre sector, decreed Miss Priest. This is a very interesting take from Miss Priest, because we know the arts are completely captured, and sadly there are good artists working in the arts, but there are nutters running the arts, it seems to me, and nutters doing, I mean, they don't do much art because they can't do it, can they? Nutters, ideologues, don't, it's all rubbish, it's just rubbish, because they can't produce anything aesthetically beautiful. They can't appreciate aesthetics. It's not in their framework, their ideological framework. So they just produce shite that nobody wants to see most of the time. Or that, people always pretend they want to see. It's like these comedians that do woke stuff. They stand up and go, just criticise people. Or, not even funnily, but they'll say things they know the crowd will like, and then the crowd will clap so that they can virtue signal back to the person who's recognising that they're virtuous. It's just rubbish. That's what's happening in the arts. Defund the damn lot, I say, and then rebuild. Twitter. And I love it because Brendan says here, I'm still not ready to call it X. Elon started buzzing with chat about Grieg's like crimes, and soon he shut down his own Twitter account. Twitter's no country for men who support women's rights. Twitter is no country for men who support women's rights. Such was the pressure on Grieg that he felt obliged to write an apologetic letter to staff at the Royal Lyceum Theatre in Edinburgh, where he is an artistic director. I apologise that my Twitter actions have been careless and harmful. What? He said. He said he couldn't recall liking the evil tweets, but accepts that he must have. Then came the saddest part of his recantation, a promise to convert to correct thought. I value my trans and non-binary colleagues, he said, and I'll be speaking with HR to discuss making organisation-wide training available to ensure we approach these matters sensitively. Brace yourself, Lyceum people, you're about to be re-educated. The shaming of David Grieg might seem a small affair, certainly in comparison with the chattering class blood sport of going after Graham Linehan, but it matters because it shows how cruel cancel culture has become. It has all the ingredients of cultural despotism. The denunciation of Grieg by a fellow artist brings to mind the culture of denunciation that pertained in the GDR. There too, in the words of the historian Robert Gilatli, oppositional persons were frequently denounced and enemies of the good, of the common good, as enemies of the common good. And this culture of grassing had devastating effects, particularly on writers and poets. That Grieg was reprimanded for mere likes on Twitter confirms that even giving fleeting approval to oppositional thought can land you in trouble. One does not even have to speak in order to sin, far less write a manifesto. A murmur of agreement with wrong think is enough to see you condemned and chastened. There's more to the article. Once again, as always, please do go and read the article written by Brendan. I think it's well worth reading. I notice in particular that last bit where it says just the slightest thing can be enough to get the mob to descend on you. I was talking to a friend yesterday who is stealth most of the time, unless it's one-to-one. Socially does nothing on social media, etc. But we'll have conversations around it where the conversation is necessary about, look at me too nonsense, all this bloody nonsense released, wibbling critical social justice idiots. And she said to me, I don't know what to do next. I went, next you've got to be public. There are many people that are on the verge of that. Many. Who are unable to show their face for whatever reason because there's a price that's going to be paid. Many people are in that situation. So I would say consider that. Consider what it means if you do that. What happens if you go public? It's not an easy thing to do. And Brendan's warning here that if you do, it's likely that it's going to affect you. And I warned my friend yesterday of the same thing. Pick a damn fight. Pick the damn fight. If you're in a position to do so, pick the damn fight. Make a public declaration. Upset people. And then be prepared to lose those that obviously don't have much respect for you in the first place anyway. That's how I see it. So, go well. Thanks, Brendan. Great piece. We love it. Bye.